Please, I want my Cobalt Drake. Hello everybody, welcome back to Fabulous Beyster. Today we are going to be taking a look at Beyblade X BX-34 starter set Cobalt Dragoon. Finally, let's spin in Beyblade X. This is something that many people have been waiting for a very long time. Right from the start, you can already tell how different this is going to be comparing to all your standard right spin Beyblade X releases, which all come in a white box. This left spin Bey comes in a black box. Even at the top corner of the packaging, you can see a huge symbol reading Hidari Kaiten, or left spin in Japanese. So you already know how big of a deal this is going to be. So let's not waste any more time and open this big boy up. So right away, this is all that you get out of the starter box for Cobalt Dragoon. We have the blue colored left spin launcher over here and all the Beyblade parts are over here. Let's start off with the left spin launcher first. So this is the String Launcher L, the first ever left spin launcher to be released in Beyblade X. By now, most of you have already known about the multiple issues plaguing the left spin launcher within weeks of its first Japanese release. This particular left string launcher is also very clearly from the faulty release. It was very rough when I first took it out of the box. Shout out to Sam from the Trailbladers channel for helping me to fix up this launcher. I'll leave a link to the channel down in the description below. Putting it next to a normal right spin launcher for comparison, you can already tell the differences between these two. Rather than the black strip which extends down the entire body of the right spin launcher, the left spin launcher only features a small hexagonal black shaped area at the center of the body itself. Turning over to the other side, you can see that the launcher clamps of the left spin launcher are in all white compared to the standard black clamps of the right spin launcher. The white color accents also don't stop there as well, as you can see that the top of the string launcher handle also has some white plastic over here. I feel like this is going to be the standard color scheme for all left spin launchers in the future. If the color differences weren't already enough for you, the launcher also has the letter L engraved onto the clamp section. They're trying to make it as clear to you as possible that this is a left spin launcher. Left, L for left. It's very important that you don't get your launchers mixed up because a normal right spin Bey is never going to ever fit on this launcher. There do seem to be a couple of exceptions though, but that's not the main point of this video. Our first ever left spin launcher in Beyblade X is also in the very nice shade of baby light blue. It kind of matches with the color scheme of the Cobalt Dragoon Bey itself, and it's also quite a neat contrast to the red string launcher from the Phoenix Wing set. They are like complete opposites of each other, both in spin and color, and I find that to be a very nice touch. As for whether or not we are going to get a new batch of Cobalt Dragoon starter sets with hopefully not so bad string launchers, they might come up with a new batch later on in the month of August or in like early September. I'm going to get another copy for myself once the new batch comes in and see how the difference is going to be like. I'm also hoping that we'll get a regular release of a left spin winder launcher and a ripcord as well to make it a little bit more beginner friendly. The fact that they chose to make a left spin string launcher first kinda raises the barrier of entry for mastering the skill of left spin Beyblades. The crossover project release of Dragoon Storm features its own left spin winder launcher, but the 4-pack set which it comes in doesn't release until March next year. So I'm not sure if they're going to make another regular left spin winder launcher in the time span leading up to that release. Moving on, these are all the parts that you can get from the Cobalt Dragoon release. We have the Cobalt Dragoon blade over here. Here we have the 260 ratchet as well as the new Cyclone bit. Cobalt Dragoon itself is obviously a reference to Dragoon from the original Bakudensho Beyblade series. The 4-prong shape and the dragon motif are all there, similar to Cobalt Drake from the Rare Beyblade battle. There are 4 large jagged blades which extend outwards in this direction, allowing it to deliver very explosive attacks to opposing Beyblades. Each of the 4 sides of this blade have multiple contact points for attacking. The underside of the blade features a cool blue and red color combination in line with the other Cobalt series Beyblades. It seems like 2 of the prongs on the blade are hollowed out compared to these 2 other prongs over here. This is definitely going to create some sort of balancing issues, although I think this might have been their intention by design. By having the blade tilt downwards to one side while it's spinning, this increases the chance of it hitting the ratchet of the opposing Beyblades, which is pretty useful if you are aiming for a burst finish, but stamina wise, this lack of balance is not gonna do you very good in the end game. Here it is, we finally have our 3 Team Pendragon Beyblades all together. Here is Cobalt Dragoon together with Wise Tiger and Black Shell. And here is Cobalt Dragoon next to the Metal Coat Blue Dransword from the Koro magazine exclusive. Once I managed to redeem my Cobalt Drake from the rare Beyblade battle, it will make for a very nice display next to these 2 blades over here. Please, I want my Cobalt Drake! Up next over here, we have the 260 Ratchet. It's in a deep blue and red color scheme, just like the 460 Ratchet from Cobalt Drake. And it fits on very nicely onto the Cobalt Dragoon blade as well. It lines up with the blade over here to increase its attacking power in battle. If you are wondering whether this ratchet can be used on the right spin Beyblade, the answer is yes! In fact, all ratchets in the Beyblade X line are designed to be used interchangeably across different spin Beyblades. If you look closely over here, you can see that there is an L and an R on the ratchet core, and a tiny little arrow on the outer ring pointing to either letter on the ratchet. Once the ratchet has been fixed onto the blade, the arrow will correctly point to the letter denoting the spin of the bay. In this case, since we are using Dransword, it's pointing to R for right spin. So if you want to fix a particular ratchet onto a Beyblade of a particular spin, you must first set the ratchet such that the arrow is pointing to the letter that denotes the opposite of the spin of the bay you want to fix it on. Then you can affix the ratchet onto the Beyblade you want to put it on as shown over here. The same goes for putting other ratchets onto the Cobalt Dragoon blade. You must first set the ratchet to point to R first, before putting it onto the Cobalt Dragoon blade like so. In any case, this is how the 260 ratchet would look like on the Cobalt Dragoon blade. I'm not a fan of this wide gap between the ratchet and the Cobalt Dragoon blade. The protrusions of the 260 ratchet also hang pretty low in comparison to other ratchets. Very glaring weakness as it makes it an easy target for other bays to achieve a burst finish. Or even worse, it might just burst on its own in the event that it hits the wrong spot on the stadium. I'm fairly certain that the 260 ratchet is going to be a lot of people's least favorite ratchet at this point, just based on the design alone. And last but not least, we have the Cyclone bit, or C for short. As the name implies, this bit features a cyclone-like shape right at the bottom over here. The direction of the shape obviously favors a left spin Beyblade like Cobalt Dragoon. And coupled with the small surface area over here, you can see that it will lead to very fast and aggressive movements, especially on a left spin Beyblade. I wonder how the Cyclone bit will behave on the right spin Beyblade instead. Let's find out later when we test out this Cobalt Dragoon Beyblade in the stadium. Here is the Cyclone bit right next to the flat bit and the Rush bit. Weighing all the parts on the scale, you can see that the Cyclone bit is at about 2.12 grams, the 260 ratchet at about 6.15 grams, and the Cobalt Dragoon blade is at around 37.84 grams. Wow, we haven't had a really heavy blade in a long time. I just hope it's gonna be as good as Phoenix Wing is. We shall find out soon. And putting all of the parts together, here we have Cobalt Dragoon 260C. The red and the blue go really well together on this particular Beyblade. It has a very cool yet very aggressive vibe as well. Looks very good next to the left spin launcher as well. Let's head over to the stadium and test this thing out. Alright, so here we are over the Extreme Stadium with our left string launcher and our Cobalt Dragoon in hand. Let's see how it will perform on the stadium on its own first. Kind of hard getting used to putting the bay in the left string launcher. Oops, that sucked. Oh my god, it's very fast. It's like really very fast in the first few revolutions, but it ends up losing a lot of stamina because of that, and it gets into a very unstable position right towards the very end of the spin. So let's try that again. I guess I still do prefer launching with a grip because it's more stable this way. seems to be relatively stable for now. There isn't really any signs of imbalance within the blade as far as I can see. It turns out that wasn't really the right conclusion to make here. As you would see from some of the test battles later on in the video, Cobalt Dragoon destabilizes very quickly within just a couple of hits or contact with certain parts of the stadium. So the balancing issue with this blade is very real here. Now I want to see how the Cyclone blade will work on the right spin Beyblade instead. So over here we have Giant Sword 360 Cyclone. It feels like the Cyclone bit is just a little bit more passive on the right spin. It does manage to grip onto the extreme line quite well. Indeed, the shape of the bottom surface of the bit does translate into a slightly more passive movement on right spin, meaning it doesn't lose stamina as quickly as on left spin. Comparing its standalone performance against other similar type beats like Flat and Rush, it has a much better grip on the extreme line, making it easier to perform extreme dashes at the early stage of the game when the base still has high spin. Therefore, under the right conditions, it should also be more likely to score an extreme finish. Now it's time to pick Cobalt Dragoon against these couple of other Beyblades over here. First we have Tyranno Beat 560 Rush. Next up we have a Phoenix Wing 360 Off. Lastly, we have Wizard Rod 560 Ball. Can this blue dragon over here defeat the almighty Wizard's Rod? We shall see. I thought it was surprising that my 260 ratchet didn't burst all this while doing my testing, but here we are. I guess we were pretty lucky this time. Oh shit! Well, that was kind of surprising. So my overall first impression of Cobalt Dragoon is I kinda like it. I kinda like it a lot. The blade itself already kind of feels like a good fit for my current playstyle. I just need to find a different combination in order to better utilize it during actual battles. And it's not just purely about the attacking power of the blade alone. Cobalt Dragoon's ability to absorb the spin of other opposing right spin Beyblades is also a very prominent factor when considering how it's gonna change the game of Beyblade X. It will definitely be very fun and interesting to see players come up with ways to try and counter this spin absorption gimmick. As for the 260 ratchet, I haven't really had any problems with it self-bursting on its own yet. I've seen many players reporting instances of it bursting on its own because of it hitting the extreme line at a wrong angle or something like that. Although I have a feeling this can also be attributed to other factors like launch power. So this is something you really have to be very careful of when using the 260 ratchet in whatever combos you want to come up with. I'll definitely be playing around with it more in the future and see what suits this ratchet most. I also really like the Cyclone Beat's performance today. Very aggressive on a left spin Beyblade like Cobalt Dragoon, but on a right spin Beyblade it seems to be just a little bit more passive. Its performance on right spin seems to be quite comparable to Rush, I guess. I personally feel that the Cyclone Beat would be a bit more useful on the right spin Beyblade. So overall, I would say that Cobalt Dragoon is definitely a game changer in the current Beyblade X game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how players will continue to make use of the parts in this set in the future. And that's it for this video. What do you think about Cobalt Dragoon? How well do you think you'll be able to change the current game of Beyblade X? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, do remember to leave a like and share this video with all your friends. If you want to see more, do click on the subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you don't miss any more new stuff from this channel. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!